We're finally getting Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev fighting, finally, after calling for it for a year. Magomed Ankalaev probably deserves a title shot more than any other fighter in the UFC. And we get him versus Poatan, the absolute king of the UFC right now. So the question going into UFC 313 is, can Magomed Ankalaev dethrone Alex Pereira? Yeah, he can. He can, but will he is the question. It seems like when fighters fight Alex Pereira, think back to Sean Strickland, think to like Jiri Prochazka, think Jamahal, even Khalil Rountree in the last fight. They're all like, no, I'm gonna strike with him, bro. Like, I vividly remember, there's no gory kickboxer gonna outbox me. Like, before we get into this episode, like, subscribe, you know the deal. We got a Discord in the description where you can go and chat with me, hang out, and come talk about fights. Also, newsletter, sign up for that. It's free. Or if you want to support the channel, $5 a month. Super cheap. How'd that turn out, Sean? And now they're good friends, so, more power to them. But Ankalaev has both said, hey, be ready to wrestle for 25 minutes, and I'm going to stand and strike with him. And he's also said, like, I'll fight him for 15 minutes standing up in the last two. Like, what is Ankalaev going to do? Now, everyone seems to think because he's from Dagestan, he's this incredible wrestler that is dominating everybody. And everybody believes that Alex Pereira, the way to beat him is through grappling. Now, you look early in his UFC run, yes, that could have been true. But since then, he's kind of shored up a couple of those things. Even scored a takedown against Israel Adesanya, which was wild, by the way. But in this light heavyweight run, he hasn't run into anybody except for Jan Blachowicz that wanted to wrestle him. Jiri Prochazka, too. Okay, so no, he's run into two people out of the 5-6 fights he's had. I don't know if Ankalaev's going to be able to come in here and actually wrestle to the level that it's going to take Alex Pereira down consistently without getting nuked in the process. That's a long sentence to say, I don't know if his grappling's good enough. I just don't. So when you're looking at an Alex Pereira takedown attempt, and we talked about this before in our film study of Alex Pereira, but we've talked about it before in the fact that Alex Pereira, when he does get pushed against the fence, he's looking for the whizzer, he's fighting the hands, and he is going to he's just going to wait there. He's going to be happy where he's at. Now, I'll say Ankalaev might have a little bit more finesse to his takedowns than that, but I don't know how much more. You see, if you want to beat Alex Pereira, he's really good at getting up along the fence and taking his time along the fence and wall walking up. If you really want to beat him up on the ground, take him down in the center of the cage. There, he just kind of waits. Even then, I don't know if Ankalaev's going to be able to sit, because all rounds start on the feet. He always is going to have to deal with the striking of Alex Pereira coming into this. And, oh no, I'm suggesting a Tim Kennedy book. Scars and Stripes, actually, is an interesting read. If you want to know a little bit more about the earlier days and the earlier stars of the UFC, this book is not too bad if you can get past the glazing that Tim Kennedy gives himself. In this book, he talks about when he fought Roger Gracie. In the book, he said, after an early scare where Roger Gracie, the greatest grappler who has ever lived, had my back and was trying to rear naked choke me, I escaped his submission and then grappled the F word him to a dominant victory. Link to that book's in the description. Go pick it up. Scars and Stripes, Tim Kennedy. Actually a fun read. If you can get past him glazing himself for a few chapters. Anyways, I bring that up because, just because Ankalaev gets on top doesn't mean, Tim Kennedy fighting Roger Gracie, that the fight's over. Now, I'm not saying that Alex Pereira is going to go in there and grapple Ankalaev. No, I don't think that's going to happen, actually. But what I do think is going to happen is it's going to start on the feet again, just like Jan Blachowicz, just like Jiri Prochazka. Those two guys had him really bad spots taken down against the fence, and he kind of stalled there. And after that, he got up and he didn't really take down or knock out Jan Blachowicz. Nobody has, really. But he did knock out Jiri Prochazka. Okay, and that was the first Prochazka fight. So, yeah, I don't know. And then another thing we have to ask ourselves is, what's Magomed Ankalaev's chin like? Can he just eat the shots? I don't know if anybody can actually just eat his shots, right? But if he can, like, that would be a big, big deal. Now, we've seen Alex Pereira go 5 rounds before, or almost 5 rounds. We've seen that. We've seen him go 4 rounds and look amazing in round 4 where he starts ratcheting things up. Ankalaev begins to fade. And we saw that against the Jan Blachowicz fight where both of them were absolutely dead tired. Let's go over to the web real quick. Let's go over to the web right here. I don't know why that green screen pops up. I want to look at something on this Ankalaev fight with Jan Blachowicz real quick. So you remember this? UFC 282. Where was it? That's in T-Mobile Arena. Never mind. I was thinking it was maybe could have been in Mexico City or something crazy like that, but it wasn't. You know, if this gets drug into deep waters, I don't see Ankalaev being able to take down Alex Pereira at will. Pereira shown late. Remember, he knocked out Adesanya in round 5. Khalil was round 4. I don't know if he can pull that off. That's an interesting thought. It's something to think on, guys. And I don't have any definitive answers for it right now. But guess what? In 3 days, we will. We'll find out and we'll know, right? This card, though, it's not too shabby because we got the highlight reel returns. Justin Gaethje. He was supposed to fight Dan Hooker on this card, as you know. And instead, Hooker pulled out because he hurt his hand. And in steps, after a year off, Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev is coming off of that ACL, MCL, whatever, leg injury. These two, obviously, they fought a long time ago. It was against Gamrot. Okay, that was in 2023, September. And the fight before that was the Justin Gaethje majority decision. Very close fight. Very fun fight. That was a long time ago for Justin Gaethje, though. And we don't know what Rafael Fiziev is going to look like coming into this fight. But I don't know if he's going to be as bad off looking as Gaethje. Now, you go over and let's go ahead and do a web hop real quick here. I'm looking at Fiziev. He's looked good. You know, he had that really good run. Knocked out Dos Anjos in a really good fight. Then he lost to Gaethje in the Gamrot fight, which he was on his way to winning. Justin Gaethje, on the other hand, has had some ups and downs. Obviously, the Khabib loss. He beat Chandler. The Oliveira loss. Beat Fiziev and knocked out my boy Poirier. It hurt my feelings. And then, obviously, the Max Holloway fight, he looked completely outgunned. I want to know if Justin Gaethje is going to come back and fight his old way. And he said that. He said, hey, I'm bringing back the old Justin Gaethje with new improvements. I'm like, that could be kind of interesting. Yeah, but that's not the type of person you want to fight like that against. And if this is the Rafael Fiziev that we remember, he can feast on that, boys. He really can feast on that fight style. We could see a Rafael Fiziev in the top 3, top 5, whatever Gaethje is ranked. Let me go look real quick. Because if we could see a Fiziev ranked that high, yeah, he's number 3. So that'd probably put him at number 4, and Gaethje or Poirier move up to 3. That's how that would probably shake out. But again, like, that's not how you want to fight against a guy like Rafael Fiziev. I don't know what this fight is going to entail because there's so many questions going into it. Like, how's Fiziev recovering? Because it's been over a year now since he's been out. What's his ring rust going to be like? Or what's Gaethje going to look like after that Holloway loss? Is he going to come out here and fight like a maniac? That could get him hurt, or that could play into his favor. Is he going to smash Fiziev's legs? Like, is Fiziev even in camp shape? I don't even think he had a fight scheduled. He just stepped in. Sucks because I did want to see Gaethje and Hooker fight. That would have been a really good one. But, like, at the same time, we're getting this, and it's like a blessing because that last fight, 3 rounds, was great. Fiziev was gassed. Could have went in Gaethje's favor because Gaethje can dig deep. And it did go in Gaethje's favor, like, but the distance could go into his favor. So there's some X factors here that you have to take into consideration. And I don't know if we have enough information to make a prediction on this fight. Sure, but yeah. The Lanky Boys. The Battle of the Lanky Boys. If you don't know who I'm talking about, you're about to. Obviously, because we're here talking about it, right? That was a dumb statement. Jalen Turner and Ignacio Bahamondes. What a fight. Jalen Turner is coming off of a sad loss to Renato Moicano, of which that was that UFC 300. You remember, that's where the one where he knocked down Moicano and kind of walked off and was like, hey, you're still fighting. Let's keep going. And Moicano managed to smash him out. Bahamondes is coming off of that big win over Manuel Torres at UFC Noche. It was a really big first-round knockout. And this guy's got some big highlights, man. Bahamondes, we did a film review on him. You can probably go in and check that one out. But he's such a fun fight. He's long. He cuts an angle. And in that last one against Manuel Torres, he cuts out at an angle and lands that right cross. And you look at, I'm thinking Randy Brown, but no. Jalen Turner, he has some really long straight strikes too. This could be one of those fights that's miserable for Ignacio Bahamondes, because you go back and you look at his loss to John McDessie and you're like, oh, like you get up in his grill. But then again, that's not really how Jalen Turner traditionally fights. But again, with the length and the speed of Jalen Turner, it could offset some of that, right? So what are we looking at here? What kind of a fight? This is going to be one of those fights to either, because we've seen Ignacio Bahamondes fight, lanky fight. We remember the Roosevelt Roberts. Now, Jalen Turner's no Roosevelt Roberts. The Roosevelt Roberts, that was the wheel kick highlight that you see from Ignacio Bahamondes every time they play a package on him. But this, I can kind of see like swinging towards Jalen Turner's way. But this is an opportunity for Ignacio Bahamondes at UFC 313 to show himself to be an elite or a higher level fighter. Because if you go back over here to the web, look at what Jalen Turner has done, who he's fought. You know, Moicano, Bobby Green, Hooker, and Gamrot, both very close fights. Brad Riddell, Malarkey, Brock Weaver, I forgot about him. The Matt Favola loss, he's fought Vicente. He's fought some good fighters, and if you can get past him, you can either become like a King Green on your way up to the top, or you can, say to myself like, hey, I'm a Dan Hooker or a Moicano, And Bahamondes himself, looking over at his record, his run since that Ludovic Klein loss, again, that was another fighter that just got into his face and did what he did. So Jalen Turner's going to have to get into his face, smash his legs, and really kind of pound him out. But like Manuel Torres, Christos Giagos, that's like fighters he should beat. Trey Ogden, Rongju, Roosevelt Roberts, that's, again, fighters he should beat. This McDessie fight, we'll call this one, it's a short notice fight. McDessie was supposed to fight somebody else. But the Ludovic Klein fight kind of, it put me real big on Ludovic because I was like, oh, he's decent. But then again, Ludovic, yeah, he lost to Trezano and Landwehr. Where's Trezano been? That was a weird fight. Oh, he's in bare knuckle now after losing to. That was weird. I wonder why they cut him. Huh? Odd. So this one's tough to call, guys. I'm pulling for Ignacio Bahamondes because I always like him. But I won't be surprised if Jalen Turner wins the fight. What else? How does UFC 313 stack up? How else does it look here with the rest of the pay-per-views? It's not too bad. There's better pay-per-views, sure, but there's also pay-per-views that, bit slacking, kind of UFC 312. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. All right, so let's hop back over to the web real quick here. What else is, Amanda Lemos and Ismael Lucindo. That's, Lemos is probably never getting another title shot again. This is an opportunity for Lucindo to, go up and make a big statement. She lost to Uruguay back in her UFC debut, but since then she's beat Brogdon Walker, Polyana Viana, Kovalkiewicz, and Marina Rodriguez. All some good wins. So if she can get past Amanda Lemos here, that's an opportunity for her to be at the title. Because if you go over to her rankings here, what's that, women's strawweight? She's not. Oh, yeah, she's ranked 7. Okay, and Lemos is 5. That'll catapult her into the top 5 there. Bobby Green and Marcusio Ruffy. You know, I've watched Ruffy every single time he fights, and I can't remember him. The Ellen Top, Jamie Malarkey. Yeah, so he's technical knockout. I don't know. This is a tougher fight for King Green. King Green, obviously, we know him. Yeah, I think Green has an opportunity here to get a good win, but this is, I believe, is a star making for Marcusio Ruffy. 11-1 against a 32-16-1 guy. You kind of see what they're setting up here. Curtis Blaydes is fighting this guy, Rizvan Kunziev, however you say his name, a 13-2-1 Dagestani heavyweight, making his UFC debut. Really good win over on the Contender Series. I got him in here. He had a fight go no contest when he he tested positive for anabolic steroids. Yeah, baby, let's go. Oh, man. That's hilarious. And then he lost to Justin Willis and Darko Stosic. So, I mean, you know, early in his career, that's a little tough fights for him to take. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, he won, and that's hilarious. He's fighting Curtis Blaydes. We know Curtis Blaydes being the guy that's good until he's not. And, you know, Tom Aspinall beat him up after he beat him beating Tom Aspinall due to the injury. Jelton Almeida he beat. So, you know, Curtis Blaydes is a good test. And Kudziev, this will skyrocket him if he can win this fight. Ray Suyura and Joshua Van. That's the fight, everybody. You got to watch this fight. Joshua Van, great takedown defense. Suyura's explosive himself. Flyweight fight. Really good hands on Joshua Van. Watch that fight. That's a really fun fight. Bruno Ferreira and Armin Petrosyan. Is Ferreira one of the fighting nerds? No, it's Brazilian TKO. Coming off of a loss to Abus, so that really can't can't inspire confidence. Alex Morono always comes with some fun game plans against Carlos Leal this time. That's a decent fight. Marian Santos and Francis Marshall. Okay. Ozzy Diaz and Jordan Santos. I'm assuming the D is silent in there. And then Chris Gutierrez has been banished to the very first prelim on the card after Song Yadong and Pedro Munoz for just being a boring fighter. So I'll obviously probably end up skipping that one. But yeah, overall 313 is not bad. It's not terrible. There's been better cards, sure. But yeah. Sick this week, guys. You can probably hear it in my voice. I missed the Manel Kopp fight, which was terrible because slapped him in the face, basically, and raked his eye. Asu Amabayev tried to say, yeah, but he, 2 weeks in a row, we got eye poke problems. And then Gervonta Davis had his controversial loss. Took a knee, it should be a point. That's all I'm going to say about that. But Poatan's back, and we always love Poatan, and there's always some great stuff we can learn from Poatan. If you want to know what Poatan's about, this film study right here, we talk about Alex Pereira and how he likes to fight, what he does. So if you want to know about the left hook, the shortcut kick, all of that, this video is for you.